Good morning, Vinnie. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Good morning.
Man, I am so glad that you've teamed up with Court TV for Accomplice to Murder, because we never get to see that side of the story. Because, I mean, we've had so many different crimes here in Charlotte, and it was always the little guy or the innocent guy that's also going to jail with them.
Yeah, so Accomplice to Murder, you know, these stories take a look at crimes a little bit differently, and you're so right. And it really varies from murder to murder in this series, what level of culpability each accomplice has and what their role was. And what we do is we examine the nature of the relationship of the accomplice to the principal to the murder, the person who was, you know, holding the gun, squeezing the trigger, and look at the nature of their relationship and how did this accomplice, who was living a relatively normal life, end up in the middle of a murder case. And in our system of justice, in most instances, the accomplice is held to responsible for everything that the principal has done. So it's the same potential sentence, the same penalty for the accomplice as for the principal. So we examine the relationship, the crime, the investigation, and then through the Court TV archives, we take a look at what happened at the trial.
See, and people don't understand that you could be at that same kitchen table planning things out. You didn't even go to the crime, but you still planned it out. You are an accomplice.
Yeah. You're in for what is it? In for a penny, in for a pound. You know, if you do anything that furthers this murder to happening, you will be as responsible. In some cases, it's under a felony murder doctrine. In other cases, it can be conspiracy. Other cases, it could be aiding and abetting. And some states have an actual accomplice statute. Yeah. So what you see is sometimes it's in an instant.
Wow.
Where someone's life changes, where, you know, you're hanging out with your boyfriend and all of a sudden he's about to commit a double murder, and he asks you if you can give him a ride, and you're in, and that's it. Now the rest of your life has been defined for you by that decision in that moment.
Court TV gives you this platform to share this. I mean, the story with Christy, she was the planner. Tyler did exactly what he was told. Boom, boom, pow. They're both going down.
Yeah, and this is a 13-year-old boy. He
Yeah.
ends up confessing to the murder. So, you know, what do you do with that? What do you do with a 13-year-old, first of all, that's involved? And how did he get involved? Was his sister manipulating him? And then what did he actually do? Mm-hmm. And did he get a fair trial? And what should happen, and what is justice in this case? And those are the issues that we look at. And, you know, each episode, each week is different jurisdictions, and the nature of each case different, and the results are very different as well.
I would love to see your investigations underway, because, I mean, to connect the dots, you got to find the next dot. You got to find the next breadcrumb. Everything leads to someplace, but then you've also got somebody who could be hush, hush, hum, hum. Well, I'm not going to talk. And then how do you break them?
Well, sometimes it's physical evidence. You know, the world we live in now, investigators have such a great tool that they can use, and it's what we carry around with us each and every day, which is our cell phones. Our cell phones track so much activity, from location to searches to text messages, communications, all of that. And sometimes that's the piece that can tie people together. While you don't have anyone admitting to anything, you can put people together. You can get conversations that they had that they never thought the world would see, and you can reveal them to try to dig in and get to the truth.
Oh, my God, you're so right about that, because look at what just happened to Murdoch down here in South Carolina. They knew exactly where he was. The evidence of his phone. You're busted, dude.
You are busted. And jurors love that because they can relate to it. First of all, they understand, you know, the relationship that we all have with our cell phones now, and they trust that evidence, and it is reliable evidence, and it's very revealing, because there are think about things that you do, things that you have said, things places you have been with your phone, and then put it in the middle of a murder investigation, and you're cooked. You're cooked.
Yeah. Richard and Marilyn, they disappear in Florida 15 years apart. The kids, there was a leader, there was an executor. I mean, this is something that took years to basically uncover.
Yeah, so there's Richard Sr. is they call him the monster. He's the father. He is terrorizing his entire family, his wife and his 3 children, abusing them sexually, physically, verbally. Then one day he disappears, but the family says nothing because he's the monster and he's gone. So they just go on living their lives until 15 years later to the day the mom disappears.
Yep.
Then there's an investigation, ultimately a confession by the oldest son that he not only killed his mother, but he killed his father as well. But the twist is he implicates one of his sisters, and she becomes the accused accomplice to murder. And in that episode, we focus on what happened to her, her story, and her trial, which was an amazing trial.
Are we headed in the right direction when we're now holding parents accountable for what their kids did at a mall shooting?
That's, there's a couple of cases and stories like this that we're covering right now on Court TV. These are aggressive prosecutors, but it's also, I think, our system being frustrated with the number of these shooters and wondering, well, how can we prevent this? It's going to be fascinating to see how these cases turn out, because they are, as you mentioned, on the cutting edge. This is next level stuff. Can we hold a parent responsible for something their child did when it comes to murder? Each of these cases, I think, is really going to hinge on the facts, the specific facts, and the specific actions or inactions, and how much they knew, what they knew, and when they knew it, and whether or not they had any sort of role in helping their child, either provide them with a weapon or give them access to the weapon. I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to turn out, but I know prosecutors are now being much, much more aggressive.
Well, and your show is definitely on the edge. I love it. Accomplice to Murder on Court TV. People are going to be watching this. They're going to be talking about this, and if they're ever in a place where they're making a decision, they're going to go, I'm not going to be an accomplice, man. People have paid the price.
Don't do it, baby. Don't do it.
Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
You be brilliant today, okay, sir?
I will.